I'm just astonished by how vilified anabolics are. And then you have people taking cortisone injections every single match they play.
Oh no, they don't.
In the French Open,
they don't get cortisone injections in the NFL anymore because
no.
People
Tennis.
I know, but people demonified the needle, so now it's oral. And I'm like, oh great.
Oh, that's better.
Less effective.
Thank you, liver.
No. I mean, if any athlete is out there, like I've been waiting all along for like players associations to kind of actually stand up for that same thing. It's like nobody bats an eye about putting a compromised athlete with some type of analgesic or catabolic agent to break down their tissue to enable them to perform when nobody's allowing them the kind of technology and enhancement of science to kind of give them some anabolic support. Yeah. And I'm not saying that you don't uncheck that system and you let people just kind of take anabolics, unchecked and push the limits. I agree there has to be some limits and there has to be something to kind of monitor that. But at the same time, like when you hear somebody like Rodney Harrison from the Patriots say like, look, I'm a 36-year-old athlete and I have 22-year-olds that are coming to try to take my job. And if I'm enhancing kind of recovery and rejuvenation from this brutal sport, you guys are going to come down on me and judge me about that.
I have talked to coaches.
I think it's bullshit.
I think high-level coaches in the NFL that have athletes show up the next day after a game primarily so they can move, so they can metabolize the Toradol.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Dude, we don't want you to go out and drink after this event because you don't realize what's in your system.
Yes.
Dude, and Toradol's and
that's right. Which is a big anti-inflammatory.
Yes.
And I don't think what people realize is there's even a connection between the Toradol, the anti-inflammatories that they're giving, and the severity of the brain contact. Right? Yeah. These things go past the blood-brain barrier.
Yes.
Suddenly we start to see greater brain bleeds because of it. I mean, like, it's all matched up. I mean, like, we could go down this rabbit hole, but I mean,
right.
We are so naive about what's happening in big sport.
Right. And you have to understand that, like, something like corticosteroids and anti-inflammatories, they're basically designed from a survival instinct to sell the fucking long-term farm to get through the current situation.
Yeah, the trial by fire that
absolutely
could kill you.
Yeah. I mean, it's really terrible that's allowed to occur without the compensatory enhancement of recovery.
If you are listening and you go to the Football Hall of Fame speeches just last year, look at the number of coaches being crippled. Don Shula helped by 4 people across the stage to accept his award. And that's because he played football and then led this CEO lifestyle of not sleeping, culture of machoism, where he destroyed himself and now
sitting down 16 hours a day.
The stress.
Yeah.
And the poor nutrition and didn't support himself, to be the highest level, high stress CEO in the same environment as like, hey, we've come through, we can keep these guys alive with cortisol and, it's a disaster and those guys are crippled. And I mean, like that, remember, you have to come out unharmed at 1 rep or 1,000,000 reps. And we're not talking about trauma. That's an aside. Bad stuff is going to happen to you. We're just talking about the preventable disease.
Yeah. Guys, I watched Jim Harbaugh. I was like, I went to Candlestick for the last game. We had some kind of like sideline passes, and I watched Jim Harbaugh kind of hobble onto the goddamn field, and I was like, man, this is the fucking quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, how the hell? Like, what are what's the condition of the rest of these people? 10, 20 years after.